Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. The Miami Dolphins are entering a critical phase in their search for a new head coach, and the developments over the past week suggest that things are about to get very serious. After a busy Monday of in-person interviews, the team appears poised to make a major decision that could reshape the franchise's future. The Dolphins had scheduled meetings with 3 defensive coordinators, starting with Patrick Graham of the Las Vegas Raiders, Kelvin Shepard of the Detroit Lions, and Jeff Hafley of the Green Bay Packers. These interviews were not only an essential step in evaluating potential candidates, but also served to satisfy the Rooney Rule requirement, which mandates that teams interview at least 2 minority candidates in person, with Graham and Shepard completing this requirement. The Dolphins now have the flexibility to move forward with a head coach hire at any moment, setting the stage for what could be a rapid conclusion to the search process. The narrative emerging from multiple reports suggests that Jeff Hafley has taken a commanding position as the leading candidate to replace Mike McDaniel. Hafley's credentials, including his previous experience as head coach at Boston College and his successful tenure as defensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, have positioned him favorably in the eyes of Dolphins management. Hafley's connection with new general manager John Sullivan, forged during their time together in Green Bay, appears to have strengthened his appeal. It is increasingly likely that the Dolphins could follow a model similar to what the Atlanta Falcons and New York Giants executed with Kevin Stefanski and JOHN HARBAUGh, respectively, offering the job on the spot and potentially canceling future interviews once the right candidate is secured. With Hafley also scheduled for interviews with the Tennessee Titans and the Las Vegas Raiders, the Dolphins may feel pressure to act quickly, providing a compelling offer that not only highlights the team's vision but also emphasizes the opportunity to collaborate closely with Sullivan. Monday morning brought additional intrigue when the Buffalo Bills fired head coach Sean McDermott, an event that could have introduced some hesitation into the Dolphins' process. However, all indications point to Hafley being the primary target, and it is unlikely that McDermott's dismissal will cause any significant delay. The Dolphins' prior virtual interview with minority candidate Robert Saleh does not satisfy the Rooney Rule for in-person interviews, and the only other in-person candidate interviewed so far has been Kevin Stefanski, who was granted an exception due to his recent firing from the Cleveland Browns. With these formalities addressed, the path is clear for the Dolphins to potentially finalize their decision on Hafley without further procedural hurdles. Hafley's position as the front-runner has been reinforced by the fact that he was the first candidate to receive a second interview, a development that signals strong interest from Dolphins management. While being granted a second interview does not automatically confirm his status as the leading candidate, it undeniably reflects confidence in his ability to lead the team. The Dolphins' appreciation for Hafley's strategic mind, defensive expertise, and leadership style has become evident, and it appears that he is viewed as an ideal candidate to succeed McDaniel. His experience in both college and professional football, combined with his ability to manage and develop defensive units, provides a balance of tactical knowledge and leadership skills that the Dolphins appear to value highly. Sunday brought further developments as the Dolphins conducted an interview with Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. Expanding the list of candidates officially considered for the head coach position, Brady became the 8th individual officially interviewed during this search, joining Hafley, Stefanski, Clint Kubiak, Robert Saleh, Anthony Campanile, Jesse Minter, and Chris Shula. This broad range of candidates demonstrates the team's commitment to thoroughly evaluating talent, while also underscoring Hafley's emerging status as the central figure in the process. As discussions continue, the Dolphins management is likely weighing not only the coaching credentials of each candidate, but also their compatibility with the team's long-term strategy and organizational culture. Historical context provides an additional lens through which to view this pivotal moment. The Dolphins' history of head coaches is extensive, dating back to George Wilson, who was hired in January of 1966. Don Shula, one of the most iconic figures in NFL history, led the team from 1970 to 1995, cementing a legacy of excellence. Since Shula's tenure, the Dolphins have seen a series of coaches including Jimmy Johnson, Dave Wannstedt, Nick Saban, Ken Cameron, Tony Sparano, Todd Bowles, Joe Philbin, Dan Campbell, Adam Gase, Brian Flores, and most recently, Mike McDaniel. Each of these hires reflects a unique chapter in the team's evolution, with varying degrees of success and influence on the franchise's trajectory. The current coaching search represents another critical juncture, offering the potential for a transformative hire that could define the team's identity for years to come. The broader NFL landscape also plays a significant role in shaping the Dolphins' strategy. Teams such as the Tennessee Titans and Las Vegas Raiders are actively interviewing Hafley, which introduces an element of competition and urgency. The Dolphins must consider not only Hafley's qualifications, but also the timing and structure of any offer to ensure they are positioned to secure him before other teams can intervene. This competitive environment underscores the high stakes of the search process and the careful balancing act required by Dolphins management beyond securing the right candidate. The organization must also communicate a vision that aligns with both the head coach's philosophy and the team's overall objectives. Jeff Hafley's combination of experience, strategic acumen, and professional relationships makes him a compelling figure in this search. His prior work at Boston College demonstrated his ability to build and lead successful teams, while his tenure in the NFL has shown that he can translate those skills to the professional level. Hafley's approach to defense, player development, and game management appears well-suited to the Dolphins' aspiration, and his alignment with John Eric Sullivan suggests a shared vision that could accelerate the team's growth as the Dolphins consider the possibility of extending an offer immediately. The focus is not only on Hafley's technical expertise, but also on his leadership style, his ability to foster a winning culture, and his potential to inspire both players and staff. As the coaching search reaches its critical moments, the Dolphins are navigating a landscape that combines history, strategy, competition, and opportunity. The interviews conducted, particularly those of Hafley, indicate that the organization is moving decisively toward a resolution. The team's past decisions, current roster composition, and organizational ambitions all factor into the evaluation of potential candidates, and Hafley's profile aligns closely with what management appears to be seeking, with the timing of other teams' interviews creating additional pressure. The Dolphins are positioned to make a move that could immediately secure their preferred candidate, potentially mirroring the swift, decisive approaches seen with other high-profile hires across the league. In conclusion, the Miami Dolphins head coach search is entering a phase where decisions could be made rapidly, and all signs point toward Jeff Hafley as the central figure in this process. The combination of his coaching experience, defensive expertise, prior head coaching background, and alignment with John Eric Sullivan creates a compelling case for his immediate hiring. With procedural requirements satisfied and other top candidates considered, the Dolphins have the opportunity to act quickly and decisively, potentially setting the stage for a new era of leadership and success in Miami. The team's history, competitive pressures from other NFL franchises, and Hafley's qualifications converge to create a scenario in which the Dolphins could solidify their future direction with a single, well-considered decision, marking a turning point for the organization as it seeks to build sustained success on and off the field. Still with us? Then show some love, hit that like button, and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? The NFL world is buzzing in ways we haven't seen in years. Rumors have been swirling for weeks, whispers growing louder in locker rooms, on social media, and in every corner where football insiders gather. And now the word is out. ESPN is claiming that the Miami Dolphins have officially sealed a deal with none other than John Harbaugh. Yes, you heard that right. The same John Harbaugh who has been synonymous with the Baltimore Ravens for over a decade. The coach who has built a legacy of toughness, strategy, and consistency in one of the league's most demanding markets, is reportedly heading to South Florida. If this is true, and nothing official has yet been confirmed by the Dolphins or by Harbaugh himself, it could very well send shockwaves across the entire NFL landscape, changing the balance of power in ways that fans are only beginning to speculate about. Think about it for a second. Miami, a team that has flirted with greatness, has had flashes of brilliance, but has never quite cemented itself as a perennial powerhouse, could be looking at a seismic shift in leadership. Harbaugh is not just a coach, he is a statement. He is the kind of figure who brings discipline, innovation, and a culture that demands excellence, and his arrival in Miami could signal the start of a new era. The Dolphins have been in a constant search for stability, someone who can turn the potential they have in the roster into consistent, week in week out dominance. And many analysts are now speculating that Harbaugh might be exactly the person to do it. Of course, these are still early days, and until contracts are signed and press conferences held, nothing is official. But even the whisper of Harbaugh in Miami has caused a tremor that fans and media outlets alike are struggling to process. Imagine the locker room dynamics when a coach of Harbaugh's caliber walks in the door. The players who have been part of a team still trying to find its identity would suddenly have a proven leader at the helm, someone with a Super Bowl pedigree and years of playoff experience. The Dolphins roster, already brimming with talent and ambition, would get a new kind of energy, a new sense of purpose. Sources close to the situation suggest that Harbaugh's interest in Miami might stem from a desire to tackle a fresh challenge, to step into a team that has shown flashes of brilliance, but has yet to fully realize its potential on the biggest stages. The allure of shaping a team in his vision in a vibrant city like Miami, under the scrutiny of one of the league's most passionate fan bases, could be irresistible. Now, consider what this means for the rest of the NFL. A Harbaugh-led Dolphins squad would instantly become a talking point in every division meeting. In every game plan, teams in the AFC East, from the Buffalo Bills to the New England Patriots, would need to reassess their strategies, because Miami under Harbaugh is unlikely to play the same way it has in previous seasons. Analysts are already speculating about offensive schemes, defensive philosophies, and special teams adjustments that could come into play. Would Harbaugh bring a more aggressive passing game? Would he shift the defensive alignments to take advantage of speed and athleticism in the secondary? Could this finally be the moment where the Dolphins' special teams, often overlooked, become a decisive factor under a coach who has always valued that phase of the game? The possibilities are endless, and each one has the NFL community buzzing with excitement and curiosity. There is also the narrative angle that cannot be ignored. Harbaugh leaving Baltimore, even in speculation, is huge. The Ravens have been his home for years, and he has crafted a legacy that includes countless playoff appearances, memorable games, and of course, a Super Bowl title. To think that he might walk away from all that to take on a new challenge is the kind of storyline that sports networks and talk shows live for. Fans in Baltimore are reportedly experiencing a mix of shock, disappointment, and disbelief, while Dolphins fans are practically in a state of euphoria at the mere possibility, the tension, the drama, the uncertainty. These are the elements that make the NFL not just a league, but a cultural phenomenon, and a Harbaugh move to Miami would inject all of that in spades. And let's talk strategy, because if the rumors hold any water, this isn't just a coaching hire, it's a statement about the Dolphins' ambitions. Harbaugh is known for his meticulous preparation, his adaptability in high-pressure situations, and his ability to maximize talent. He has taken teams that were considered underdogs and made them playoff contenders. Miami's front office, under intense pressure to deliver results after seasons of near misses, seems to be making a bold move that signals they are not just content with competing. They want to dominate. Speculation is rife that this hiring could also affect player acquisitions, draft strategies, and free agency priorities. Would Harbaugh bring in players he trusts from previous stops, or perhaps mold existing talent to fit his philosophy? How would this influence quarterback development? Given the Dolphins' young signal caller and the constant chatter about franchise quarterbacks in the league, these are the questions everyone is asking, and the answers could shape the team's trajectory for years to come. Critics are already weighing in, of course. Some say Harbaugh leaving Baltimore, even if true, could be risky. That the transition to Miami comes with challenges: new culture, new media scrutiny, a different set of expectations. Others argue that his experience and adaptability make him more than capable of handling such a shift, and that the excitement surrounding his possible arrival is justified. There is even speculation about what this could mean for other coaching positions in the league. If Miami is serious about landing Harbaugh, does that trigger a domino effect, with other teams scrambling to find replacements or reconsidering their own strategies? The NFL is a chessboard, and a move like this could be the kind of opening gambit that sets the tone for multiple seasons. Even beyond the X's and O's, there's the story for fans, the human element that makes rumors like this resonate. Harbaugh is known not just for his coaching, but for his larger-than-life personality, his competitive fire, and his ability to connect with players. Imagine the excitement in Miami stadiums, the buzz in local media, the spike in merchandise sales, ticket demand, and social media engagement. The Dolphins brand could receive an instant jolt of national attention, and all eyes would be on how this narrative unfolds. Imagine the talk shows, the YouTube channels, The podcast dissecting every word from press conferences, every tweak in training camp drills, every subtle shift in team culture. It is the kind of storyline that sports fans live for. The kind that can dominate headlines for months and set the stage for historic seasons. And let's not forget the ripple effect for player recruitment, talented free agents, young prospects. Even international attention could tilt toward Miami if Harbaugh truly comes on board. Players want to compete. They want to be in environments where winning is an expectation. And a coach of Harbaugh's pedigree brings exactly that. The idea of a Dolphins team with a Harbaugh-led locker room, a quarterback with refined coaching, and a system designed to exploit strengths while minimizing weaknesses is tantalizing. Speculators are already imagining playoff runs, close games that hinge on strategic genius, and perhaps even Super Bowl aspiration. Miami, long searching for sustained success, could be on the verge of redefining its football identity entirely. The ESPN claim is, for now, just that, a claim. But the very notion of Harbaugh in Miami has the NFL world buzzing like never before. From media analysts to hardcore fans, from casual viewers to fantasy football managers, everyone is trying to piece together what this would mean, and the possibilities are endless. Could this be the beginning of a new dynasty? Could the Dolphins finally step out of the shadows and compete with the league's elite year after year? Or is it just another rumor that will fade into the background once official statements are made? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear. The idea of John Harbaugh in Miami has already created waves, and the NFL, as a league, is paying attention. The whispers are turning into conversations, conversations into debates, and debates into speculation about what could be the most fascinating coaching saga of recent years for fans, analysts, and even casual observers. The mere possibility of this move is enough to get hearts racing, imaginations running wild, and entire timelines of football history reconsidered in real time. If ESPN's report proves accurate, the Dolphins may have just pulled off the kind of coup that other franchises can only dream of. Harbaugh brings not just experience, but credibility, notoriety, and a track record of success that few can match. His presence in Miami could elevate the team in ways that aren't immediately measurable: culture, discipline, player development, fan engagement, media attention, and long-term strategic growth. The speculation, the anticipation, and the tension are already palpable, and as the league watches and waits, one thing is certain: the NFL just got a whole lot more interesting, and the Dolphins, with Harbaugh at the helm, could be about to write one of the most compelling chapters in league history. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up!